Hello ladies and gentlemen and everyone beyond. I am BabyNoobCakes and this is PlayStation Plus free game reviews. And in this episode, we're going to be taking a look at one of the March 2020 free games, Shadow of the Colossus. Starting off, I just want to say that I have played this game in the past, and so I might be a little biased. I love this game so much, but I'll try to, it's my favorite game of all time, keep my personal opinion out until the end of the video. But now, let's attempt to answer the question as one of the free games of the month. Was it worth it? Of course it was! Oh my god, of course it was! Mechanics! Shadow of the Colossus is an action-adventure and puzzle game. From just looking at it, it may not seem like puzzle is an appropriate genre since it appears to only be an action game. But that's because it is a bit of a hybrid. Each of the colossi can't simply be climbed from the ground, and the only way to harm them is to find their weak spots and stab them with your sword. Each requires their own strategy, and you'll need to experiment to find out how to fight them while they are attempting to crush you into dust. It might all sound pretty simple, but the colossi are not bested so easily. When starting any battle, you must first find a way to climb onto the beasts. There are many different ways to achieve this. Some are simple, and others are quite involved and complex. But once you are climbing on them, the puzzle of how to get to their weak points isn't fully solved yet. The colossi will shake and otherwise try to knock you off of their backs, and you'll need to try a more creative approach. You have two weapons at your disposal, a bow and a sword. The bow is used for little more than distraction and can't cause any lasting damage to your giant foes. Your sword, on the other hand, can be used in three ways. The first two are very similar. At the start of the game and at the beginning of each mission, your first goal is to locate the Colossus, and to do so, you can hold your sword high in the air, and the points of light that reflect off of it will converge in the direction of the Colossi's hiding place. Then, once you engage them in battle, you can also use your sword to pinpoint where their weak points are. The third and final way to use your sword is the most logical way to use a sword, as a weapon. Once you find the seals on their body, they will light up, and you will need to hang on and drive your sword into them, deeply wounding them in order to break the seal. And there is one last thing I have to mention, and I may have saved the best for last. Your only friend in this forbidden land, your horse, Agro. He not only helps you get across the massive world map much faster, but is almost required for some of the fights. He's also the smartest horse I've ever seen in a video game. He does pathfinding pretty well. You can perform different tricks with him. And for those of you who care about horse things, he will actually walk, trot, and canter, and gallop properly. Art style. This game is beautiful. It has always been beautiful. Back when this was released on the PS2, it pushed the boundaries of that hardware to their absolute limits. Very few games before it had ever attempted to use so many particle effects, so much motion blur, and models with so many polygons on screen all at once. Admittedly, back on the PS2, the game suffered from a lot of dropped frames, but no one ever really cared because it was just so well done and pretty looking. At least, I didn't care. With this HD remaster, the developers have brought the graphics in this game up to where they always should have been, where they were originally envisioned. The graphics still rival even the prettiest of modern games, and they have this sort of hyper-realistic quality mixed with an almost oil paint texture, giving them a very otherworldly appearance. Sound. think I will just let the audio speak for itself, because I feel like words don't do it justice. And I really hope I don't get copyright claimed in the process. But here goes. And while there aren't very many, this game does have a few different bits of dialogue. Most of these are spoken by the disembodied voice that tells you about the Colossi and where to find them. Its lines are actually spoken by two different voice actors at once, and it creates this very unsettling feeling. Replayability. Shadow of the Colossus should last you somewhere between 6.5 to 9 hours, but in my opinion, this game deserves to be played forever. After beating the game once, you unlock hard mode, which makes each Colossi tougher, requiring more hits, and you'll also find that some of them have new weak points to find. Beating the game also unlocks New Game Plus, where you can complete time trials of each Colossus from inside the temple to unlock new items. Narrative. In Shadow of the Colossus, you play as a young man named Wander, who has lost a girl he loved, and has now brought her body to the Forbidden Lands for a very specific purpose. Here, there exists a myth that those who have died can be brought back to life as long as you possess the sacred blade. When he arrives, he finds some truth in the stories and meets a disembodied voice of some being who reminds him that these lands are forbidden for a reason. But if he is steadfast in his task, he just might be able to acquire a resurrection. If only he slays the 16 Colossi that inhabit this land. Even after beating only the first boss, you will begin to have doubts about what the cost of this might mean for this land, for the Colossi you fight, and for your own body and mind. But all throughout, you hear Mono's voice calling to you from beyond the grave, and you continue your task. My opinion. I'm so glad that this game came up this month, because this is probably my favorite game of all time. Top 5 to be sure. I think that I've played through this game roughly 20 times at this point in my life. And that's counting back on the PS2, the HD re-release on the PS3, and now this remastered version on the PS4. I love this game. And I think the reason that I love this game so much is because at the time when it came out, there wasn't anything else like it. And even since then, there hasn't been anything to rival it. No game has ever given me quite the same feeling of being so small and insignificant in such an inhospitable environment, full of giants ready to kill me. And the strange mystery that this game provides just always kept me coming back over and over, trying to find answers. And the crazy thing is, even though I've played this game so many times, and the world map is, it's not the biggest world map that's ever been in a game, but I'm still finding things, new things, in this map that I've never seen before. And I think that level of explorability and wonder and mystery that this game evokes just isn't matched by many others. I think I love this game because it is so very unique, but also it provides great gameplay as well. I think that because this game is so much fun to play, and there's so much mystery to uncover, but still never get any answers to, is what keeps me coming back to this game over and over. It's also the first game that I ever played that had me questioning whether or not what I was doing was right. Nowadays, a lot of games have morality systems, or choices between good and bad outcomes that show whether you are a good or evil player. But this was the first game that I ever played that made me question whether or not doing any of the things that I was doing were right or not. Was it worth it? With the other game this month being Sonic Forces, whatever the second game was going to be would probably have been much more worth it than that. But they chose to make the second game such a strong choice with Shadow of the Colossus. I love this game so much, and I did already own this version before it was free. And I think everyone everywhere should play this masterpiece. But I know not everyone will like this game, but you should! And I know there are a lot of people who probably own or did own some version of this game during its lifespan since 2005, which is just another reason to replay it now if you haven't in a really long time. And I know it's not too expensive of a game, which, who cares? EA can charge $60 for the same game that they just re-release year after year, and people still buy those, so considering both the positives and negatives and carefully weighing the good versus the... It's worth it! It's worth it! It's so worth it! Go play it! Play it right now! It's the best game ever made! If you don't get it, you don't understand art! And if you don't think games can be art, then you're a Luddite and a barbarian!
Sir, please come with us. We're here to take you in.
No! Let me go! I have to tell everyone about this game!
Sir, please don't do this. We don't want to have to do this the hard way.
No! No! But maybe that's for you to decide. You're still wrong if you disagree with me, though. But no matter what, get at me in the comments, let me know what you think, and let's discuss if this month's games were worth it or not. Also, don't forget to go onto the PlayStation Store and download your free games every month, because hey, they're free, and sometimes you will end up with a few gems, like this one. This one's good. Play this game. Play this game! Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you later.